Hello, everyone. I'm Six Path Weeb, and welcome to my YouTube anime fanfic channel. Today, we're diving into another exciting episode of our fanfiction series. What if Naruko consumed the forbidden fruit? Part 2. Disclaimer: this channel is dedicated to entertainment and discussion. I do not own any of the anime footage featured in my videos. Full credit goes to the respective creators and copyright holders. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in. Naruko, despite being unique, possessing immense knowledge and unparalleled power, continued to present herself as an ordinary, mischievous ninja, playing pranks and disrupting classes to gauge the true opinions of those around her. This was all part of her carefully crafted plan. Tonari and Kimimaro would often visit her apartment in secret to discuss their covert activities, which included grave robberies and the disappearance of civilians. Throughout the village and even beyond, there were constant warnings against staying out late at night, as those who did often vanished without a trace. These mysterious disappearances were not limited to Konoha but were occurring in other villages within the Land of Fire as well. For the past 3 months, no one had seen or heard from Naruko. She now wore a turban daily to conceal the third eye that had manifested on her forehead. When alone, she would unravel the cloth and study her Rin Sharingan, seeking to master its abilities while maintaining her human disguise. She had refined various techniques she had read about, eliminating the need for hand seals. In her view, hand seals were inefficient and predictable. Thanks to consuming the fruit of the Shinju, her chakra control had reached such a refined level that she could perform powerful jutsu effortlessly. One of her favorite pastimes was returning to the abandoned village where she had first consumed the Shinju fruit. Whenever classes at the academy ended, she, having no family to return to, would head there to train in secrecy. Even her closest allies were unaware of this place. On one particular evening, after finishing her training, Naruko glanced at the ancient tree and whispered, "I will protect you. Even though you are not sentient, you were the key to my strength." As she turned to leave, a faint glow caught her attention. To her surprise, another fruit had appeared on the tree's branches. "Impossible. I already consumed the first fruit," she murmured. Raising her hands, she willed the fruit to fall and caught it, inspecting it closely. "From what I recall, long ago, a woman once consumed a similar fruit. However, that event occurred in a village far removed from the shinobi world, one that history has forgotten. This tree existed even before the one in that distant land. When I ate the first fruit, I gained its memories. But for another fruit to appear, could it be that the tree absorbs chakra from nature and continues to produce more?" Curious about its effects and eager to surpass her current limits, Naruko consumed the fruit without hesitation. The moment it entered her system, an immense surge of energy coursed through her, far surpassing what she had felt before. Her body transformed once again. Her already long blonde hair turned a brilliant shade of lavender white. Her third eye now displayed 12 tomoe, and her white kimono darkened to a deep violet, adorned with golden dragon motifs on the chest and a golden belt at her waist. She acquired golden tomoe-shaped earrings, and her hakama became jet black with intricate gold designs. Her pointed boots turned glass-like, producing a distinct clanking sound with each step. The sleeves and edges of her long kimono also darkened, with golden tomoe patterns embellishing the fabric. She grew taller, her facial features becoming more refined, and her eyebrows shortened, a sign of ancient nobility. Even her canines became more pronounced. Realizing that someone might sense her overwhelming chakra, Naruko quickly activated a Minaminaka, transporting herself into one of her personal dimensions. As she gazed at her reflection, she could hardly recognize herself. Soon, she understood, this tree continued to bear fruit by drawing in nature energy from its surroundings. With this revelation, a delighted chuckle escaped her lips, turning into laughter. "This power will make it even easier to manipulate those who underestimate me," she thought. Reverting to her usual form, she noticed some lingering changes. Her Rin Sharingan remained, and though her hair returned to its golden hue, it was now long enough to cascade down her back. Concerned that someone might grow suspicious of her sudden transformation, she wrapped her head completely in a turban before exiting her desert dimension and returning to Konoha. Back at her apartment, she was met with an unexpected sight: Sora sitting comfortably on her sofa. "Where have you been?" he asked. "Just training," Naruko replied casually. "And your hair? It's ridiculously long now. Did you do something again?" Naruko chuckled. "I suppose that's a secret for now." Sora sighed in exasperation. "Fine. But that's not the main reason I came here." "Oh? Then why are you here?" "Tonari and Kimimaro have been gathering civilians from remote areas, while Fuka has been collecting bodies from graveyards. Our hideout is filling up with corpses. I just don't understand, what exactly are you planning to do with them? Naruko smirked slightly. So, you came all this way just to ask that? Not exactly, Sora admitted. I actually have a favor to ask. I want to live here in your apartment. Naruko blinked in surprise. What? Why? The monks from the fire temple might be searching for me, even Kairiku himself. After all, I carry the Nine Tails chakra within me, and that's exactly what they want. Naruko waved off his concern with a confident smile. That's an easy problem with an easy solution. I already altered their memories using my Rin Sharingan. As far as they're concerned, you no longer exist. They believe you. Well, let's just say they won't be looking for you anymore. Sora narrowed his eyes. Wait. Since when did you do that? Naruko crossed her arms and opened the fridge, taking a sip of fresh milk. After a moment, she spoke. Do you remember the day we met? When you were asleep, I transformed into you and gathered information about your origins. While the monks were resting, I adjusted their memories, making them believe you were no longer here. Hearing this, Sora let out a sigh of relief. So, no one will come looking for me anymore. Thank you for that. I truly appreciate it. It's only natural. After all, we're like family, Naruko said with a warm smile. Family? Sora repeated, surprised. I see you, Tonari, and Kimimaro as my family, Naruko explained. But I'm still unsure about Fuka. For now, she will be considered our ally, but not part of our family just yet. From this moment on, we will establish the Otsutsuki clan, and you shall be known as Otsutsuki Sora. Kimimaro will be part of it as well. If I come to trust Fuka completely, then I will grant her the title of an Otsutsuki and welcome her into our clan. Sora smiled at Naruko's words, then bid farewell before heading back to their hideout. I won't let anything happen to you, Naruko thought to herself. I'll protect my family, no matter what. Several years later, Naruko Uzumaki continued to maintain the illusion of being an airheaded troublemaker and the so-called dead last of her class. Today was no different, she was sprinting through the streets of Konoha with a squad of shinobi hot on her heels. The reason? She had just finished painting the Hokage monument, decorating the stone faces with vibrant graffiti. Clever as ever, Naruko managed to evade her pursuers by camouflaging herself under a cloth. However, her triumph was short-lived when she was spotted by Iruka-sensei. Iruka-sensei. What brings you here? She asked with an innocent grin. Ignoring her question, Iruka grabbed her by the arm and dragged her straight to the academy. A short while later. Now tied up in front of her classmates, Naruko endured yet another lecture from Iruka. Instead of skipping class and playing pranks, you should focus on your training, he scolded. You failed your last test, and you're barely keeping up. This is your final chance. Turning to the rest of the class, Iruka continued, all of you will perform the transformation jutsu, even those who already passed. Naruko stood with Shikamaru and Ino beside her, arms crossed. This is all your fault, Naruko, Ino huffed. Not only are you the class clown, but your outfit makes it even worse. An orange jumpsuit and that blue headband? Seriously? Such a drag. Shikamaru muttered. Like I care. Naruko shot back loudly. Inwardly, she thought, just wait. One day, I'll show you all what I'm really capable of. Haruno Sakura, step forward, Iruka instructed. Transform. Sakura called out, seamlessly shifting into a perfect copy of Iruka before returning to normal. Well done, Iruka praised. Sakura blushed, sneaking a glance at Sasuke. Did you see that, Sasuke-kun? Yes. He saw how talented I am. Inner Sakura cheered. Next, Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke stepped forward, effortlessly executing the transformation. As expected, the classroom erupted with excited squeals from his admirers. Uzumaki Naruko, you're up. Hinata, watching from the side, nervously whispered to herself, do your best, Naruko-chan. With a mischievous grin, Naruko called out, transform. In an instant, she morphed into a glamorous, fully grown woman in revealing attire. Iruka was so flustered that he stumbled backward, his face turning crimson. Naruko burst out laughing. I call it the sexy jutsu. Knock it off. That's an absurd technique. Iruka barked, shaking off his embarrassment. Hours later. Naruko begrudgingly scrubbed away at the paint covering the Hokage monument under Iruka's watchful eye. You're not leaving until every inch is spotless, he warned. TCH. Doesn't matter how long it takes, it's not like anyone's waiting for me at home, Naruko muttered. Iruka paused. His expression softened as he was reminded of his own lonely childhood, growing up without a family, with no one waiting for him either. Hey, Naruko. She barely looked up. What? Once you're done, how about we grab some ramen at Ichiraku? My treat. Naruko's expression remained indifferent. No, thanks. Iruka blinked in surprise. What? But you love ramen. Not today, she said flatly. Iruka stood there, stunned. Naruko had never turned down ramen before. Could you just go, Iruka-sensei? Naruko sighed. It's easier to focus without you hovering around. Hesitating for a moment, Iruka eventually gave a small nod and left. As soon as he was out of sight, Naruko made a single hand motion, and the paint vanished in an instant. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward. My lady, I have gathered 10 individuals as you requested, Fuka reported. Naruko smirked. Good. Lead the way. The two of them left the village, where 10 civilians stood bound together. The fox girl. One of them muttered bitterly. Naruko sighed. You people really need new insults. With a single gesture, an eerie black energy surrounded her hands. The civilians trembled as their energy was drained from them, leaving nothing but dust behind. Satisfied? Fuka asked. A little, Naruko admitted. But let's hold off on gathering more civilians for now. The third Hokage is becoming suspicious. We can't afford unnecessary risks. Understood. So, will you be eating at Ichiraku after all? Naruko scoffed. Ramen might have been my favorite once, but compared to chakra, it's nothing special. Still, I'll play along for now. Fuka grinned. As you wish, my lady. With that, Naruko turned and walked back toward the village, vanishing into the night. The next day. Today is the graduation exam, Iruka announced. You will be tested on the clone technique. Kiba smirked. I heard that's Naruko's weakest skill. Yeah, another student snickered. Naruko leaned against the wall, waiting for her turn as student after student successfully performed the technique. Naruko, you're up, Mizuki called. She stepped forward calmly. Without forming a single hand seal, a perfect clone of herself appeared beside her. Mizuki's eyes widened. How did you? I figured out a way to perform the clone technique without hand signs. They take too long, she replied nonchalantly. Iruka forced a smile, sensing something different about her. Naruko. You pass. Here's your forehead protector. Without a word, Naruko accepted it and walked out of the school, disappearing into the streets of Konoha. Iruka had gone to speak with the third Hokage, concerned about the sudden shift in Naruko's behavior from the previous day. Do you have any idea what caused this change? The third Hokage asked. I'm not sure. I think I should talk to her about it, Iruka replied. As night fell, Naruko quietly left the village, making her way back to the abandoned ruins where the Shinju tree grew. She had discovered that the tree bore fruit every 3 months, and she had taken great care to protect it, placing seals around it to ensure no one else could access it. As she reflected on these precautions, she suddenly noticed Mizuki rushing through the area. Naruko? Mizuki called out, surprised to see her. Mizuki-sensei? What are you doing here? She asked. Before Mizuki could respond, Iruka arrived on the scene. Mizuki, return the forbidden scroll immediately, Iruka demanded. Mizuki smirked. No, I won't. This scroll will make me stronger than anyone else, he declared with a laugh. And if you keep interfering, I'll tell her the truth. Truth? Naruko asked, confused. What truth? Mizuki, stop. Iruka warned. 12 years ago, a great fox appeared in the village, Mizuki continued. It caused destruction everywhere, bringing fear and chaos. That creature was you, Naruko. Naruko's eyes widened in shock. Could it be? The Kyuubi was sealed inside me? I always thought it was someone else. Have you ever wondered why the villagers glare at you? Why they whisper behind your back? They despise you. They always have, Mizuki sneered. Even Iruka, he lost his parents because of you. Naruko, don't listen to him, Iruka said, his voice filled with emotion. I don't hate you. I never have. Naruko clenched her fists. The Kyuubi may have attacked the village. But that wasn't me, she declared. The one responsible for all the pain wasn't me. In that moment, something within Naruko awakened. Her eyes transformed, revealing a powerful new dojutsu, 8 tomoe spinning in her Sharingan. A surge of chakra radiated from her, causing her long hair to unravel from her headwrap, flowing through the air like living tendrils. Before Mizuki could react, her hair wrapped around him, binding him in place. Iruka watched in shock. Not only had Naruko demonstrated a new ability, but her eyes were unlike anything he had ever seen before. And then, he noticed something even more unsettling. A third eye had appeared on her forehead. Naruko turned to Iruka and spoke calmly, yet firmly, "You will not remember this. I will adjust your memories, so just stay still." She then performed a technique, implanting false memories into Iruka's mind. In this altered version of events, Iruka believed that he had protected Naruko from Mizuki's attack, and that Naruko had defeated Mizuki using the multi-shadow clone jutsu she had learned from the Forbidden Scroll. With Iruka now unconscious, Naruko concealed her new abilities, wrapping her turban back around her head and reverting her eyes to normal. As a group of shinobi arrived on the scene, she let herself break down in tears. "What happened here?" one of the ninjas asked. "Iruka-sensei protected me from Mizuki-sensei's attack," she stammered. One of the shinobi examined Mizuki and turned back to the others. "Mizuki is gone," he confirmed.
I defeated him," Naruko said, her voice trembling.
It was for what he tried to do to Iruka-sensei. As Iruka slowly regained consciousness, he looked at Naruko with warmth in his eyes. He smiled at her, completely unaware that the truth had been rewritten. Mizuki was no longer a threat, and Iruka awoke in the hospital with the third Hokage by his side. Unbeknownst to him, his memories had been altered by his student, ensuring that he would not recall the events of the previous night, especially what he had witnessed when Naruko confronted Mizuki. "So, that's everything?" the third Hokage inquired. "Yes. Naruko now knows the truth. I even assured her that I do not harbor any resentment toward her. However, when I saw her this morning, she seemed different," Iruka responded. "Speaking of which, where is she now?" Meanwhile, Tonari had single-handedly brought an end to the conflict surrounding the Gelul Stone. He had defeated Haido and taken Temujin under his guidance, following the orders of either Byakuya or Naruko. To prevent any further knowledge of the Gelul Stone from spreading, Naruko took possession of a book detailing its secrets and burned it, committing all its information to memory, how to harness its power and how to properly channel its energy. Upon discovering the Gelul vein, she absorbed its power completely. To further ensure secrecy, she instructed Temujin to create a space-time rift using his own blood, sealing away any remaining traces of the Gelul energy. "I don't know how to thank you enough for revealing the truth, that Haido was responsible for my parents' fate. I owe you everything," Temujin said with deep gratitude. "In that case, would you consider joining our clan?" Naruko asked. "I pledge my unwavering loyalty to you. From this moment on, my allegiance is yours," Temujin vowed. "Good. I have your first mission. Since you now possess the Gelul Stone's power, I have received information that Hoshigakur has a unique meteorite that grants a special chakra to those who come into contact with it. Fuka and Sora have gathered intelligence on the village's hidden conspiracies, including details about an individual named Sumaru. Your mission is to befriend Sumaru and bring him into the Otsutsuki clan. Understood?" "Yes, Byakuya-sama," Temujin affirmed. "I will be returning to Konoha. Tonari, take Temujin to Hoshigakur. Ensure the mission's success," Naruko instructed. "You can count on me," Tonari responded with a confident smirk. Naruko returned to her apartment in Konoha using her Yomatsu Hirasaka ability. She was now ready to complete her ninja registration. After finishing the necessary paperwork, she handed it to the third Hokage. "Where is your forehead protector?" the Hokage asked. "I've decided not to wear it for now. I want to keep it in pristine condition until the day of the explanatory," Naruko explained. "Very well," the Hokage replied. Just as Naruko was about to leave, a young child suddenly attempted to attack the third Hokage but tripped and fell to the floor. Trouble never seems to end, the Hokage thought to himself. "Konohamaru-kun." Ebisu called out as he entered the room. "You did something, didn't you?" Konohamaru accused, pointing a finger at Naruko. "Don't blame me for something I had no part in. Your own clumsiness is what made you fall," Naruko stated matter-of-factly. The third Hokage's eyes widened slightly at the bluntness of her words. He suspected that the events surrounding Mizuki's revelation had influenced her demeanor. "So, the so-called demon child is here," Ebisu thought to himself, his expression unreadable. Naruko, noticing the way Ebisu was looking at her, had her own thoughts. That gaze. Over and over again. One day, I will prove them all wrong. Do you realize that this child is the grandson of the Hokage? Show some respect, Ebisu scolded. Naruko turned her attention to Konohamaru, who studied her carefully. She's just like everyone else, he thought. So now that you know the truth about me, do you intend to fight me? Konohamaru challenged. What happened next caught him off guard. Naruko lightly tapped him on the forehead with her fingers. Like I care, she muttered before walking away. Konohamaru-kun, Ebisu exclaimed, rushing to his side. That child. Konohamaru-kun, stay away from her. She's a bad influence. If you truly wish to become Hokage, you must follow my guidance. However, when he turned to address Konohamaru again, the boy was gone. Konohamaru-kun. It seems he has gone after Naruko, the Hokage observed. What? That makes the 20th time he has attempted an ambush. I only hope Naruko doesn't teach him anything reckless, the Hokage thought to himself. As Naruko walked through the streets, she sensed someone following her. Turning around, she spotted Konohamaru poorly attempting to disguise himself with a cloth. I know you're following me. Your disguise is terrible. Just tell me what you want, she said, unimpressed. Haha. You really are different. I want to be your apprentice. Sorry, but I don't have time for kids, Naruko replied. Boss. Please. I want to become Hokage as soon as possible. I bet you know incredible techniques. Teach me. Hokage? Naruko scoffed. Do you even understand what it means to be Hokage? It's not all glory. It's a life full of responsibility. You're bound to the village, unable to explore freely. It's a position that carries immense pressure. Now, do you get it? Why yes, Konohamaru stammered. Good. Now, go home and stop following me, or I'll have to discipline you, Naruko said with a smirk. Feeling intimidated, Konohamaru quickly ran off, leaving Naruko alone once more. You can come out now, she said, sensing another presence. A figure emerged from the shadows. Master, I have gathered the information, said a being with dark purple hues. Don't waste time. Tell me everything now, Purple Zetsu, Naruko ordered. You are the daughter of the fourth Hokage. His name was Namikaze Minato, and your mother was Uzumaki Kushina, a descendant of the Uzumaki clan. She was the previous host of the Nine Tails, and the first host before her was Uzumaki Mito, wife of the first Hokage. Additionally, I have successfully copied all the forbidden jutsu from the Scroll of Seals, which you may access at your discretion. Do you have any information regarding the Uchiha clan massacre? Naruko asked. Yes. Uchiha Itachi was ordered by Konoha's higher-ups to eliminate his entire clan, sparing only his younger brother, Sasuke, in hopes that he would one day seek revenge and eventually defeat Itachi. This decision was made to prevent the Uchiha clan's planned coup d'état, which sought to overthrow the Hokage and take control of the village. Fugaku Uchiha, their leader, believed he could control the Nine Tails using his Mangekyo Sharingan, Purple Zetsu explained. Thank you for the information. Now, continue gathering intelligence on other ninjas. I need valuable insights into their strengths and weaknesses, Naruko instructed. As you command, my lord, Purple Zetsu replied before vanishing into the shadows. Flashback. The night Mizuki was defeated, Naruko had altered Iruka's memories to keep him safe. She had also hypnotized the Jonin who found Iruka, commanding them to leave him in the forest. As soon as they were gone, she expelled a strange purple substance from her mouth, which soon took shape into a humanoid figure with glowing red eyes. My name is Zetsu, my lord, the being spoke. I'll call you Purple Zetsu for now. One day, you will be as human as they are, Naruko replied, her eyes gleaming with ambition. That evening, Naruko returned home, her mind occupied with numerous thoughts. It had been a while since she had last heard from Temujin and Sora. She had recently learned that Kimimaro was infiltrating Orochimaru's hideouts in Otogakur and had managed to secure samples of Hashirama's cells for her. Despite his success, Naruko had instructed him to withdraw from the mission temporarily, understanding the immense risk involved if Orochimaru were to discover him. Instead, she reassigned Kimimaro to assist Sora and Temujin in Hoshigakur, where they were tasked with retrieving the meteorite and delivering it to her. She wanted the mission to be completed as swiftly as possible, another step towards strengthening her abilities for the challenges ahead. As she entered her room, Naruko gazed at her reflection in the mirror. She knew the time had come to abandon the persona she had carefully maintained. During the upcoming explanatory day, everyone would witness the transformation, not just in her appearance but also in her demeanor. Explanatory day. Naruko discarded her signature orange jumpsuit in favor of a more refined ensemble. She now wore a black turban, concealing every strand of her hair, along with flowing black robes secured by a sash at her waist. The outfit bore a resemblance to the one Tonari Otsutsuki had once worn. As she made her way to the academy, the moment she stepped into the classroom, all eyes turned to her. The stark change in her attire and presence seemed to command attention. Taking her seat beside Sasuke, Naruko remained silent. Shikamaru, ever observant, greeted her. "I never expected you to graduate," he remarked with a hint of amusement. "And it's surprising how quiet you are today. Something on your mind?" Naruko did not respond. Instead, she retrieved a book from her belongings and began reading, unfazed by his curiosity. Shikamaru studied her briefly before shrugging. "If you don't want to talk, that's fine. Today feels like a hassle anyway," he muttered before turning away. Once Shikamaru left, Naruko closed her book and turned her gaze toward Sasuke. "I can sense an immense chakra within you, Uchiha Sasuke. A destiny intertwined with your own brother. But when the time comes, who will emerge victorious, you or Itachi?" A quiet chuckle escaped her lips. Sasuke, noticing her stare, frowned. "What are you looking at?" Naruko simply smirked before averting her eyes. Meanwhile, the usual commotion ensued as Ino and Sakura jostled to enter the classroom, each arguing about who had stepped in first. Their playful bickering filled the air until they eventually walked in together. The moment Sakura noticed Naruko's transformation, she couldn't help but comment. "Naruko, are you trying to impress someone with that outfit?" Naruko remained silent. Instead, she stood up and brushed past Sakura without a word. "Hey! Don't ignore someone when they're talking to you," Sakura called out, irritated. Just as she raised her hand, intending to playfully hit Naruko's head, the blonde spoke. "Don't. Unless you're prepared for a real fight," she said, turning to face Sakura with an intense gaze. Sakura hesitated for a moment, caught off guard by Naruko's serious tone. She eventually brushed it off, assuming it was just another attempt at acting cool. However, what she didn't realize was that this was not an act, this was the true Naruko, no longer hiding behind her old self. Team assignments. As Iruka stood before the class, announcing team formations, Naruko listened with mild interest. Team 7, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Uzumaki Naruko. While Iruka continued explaining their upcoming responsibilities, Naruko's mind drifted to the situation in Hoshigakure. She had yet to receive updates from her subordinates about the meteorite. This mission is proving to be more challenging than expected, she thought. Later, as Team 7 gathered in an empty room, awaiting their assigned sensei, Naruko found her thoughts shifting once again, to Fuka's whereabouts. Reports indicated she had collected numerous specimens, safely stored in their base within Uzushio, located in the land of whirlpools. Naruko smirked to herself. Everything is progressing as planned. Meeting their sensei. After what felt like an eternity, a silver-haired jonin finally arrived. The three young shinobi exchanged unimpressed glances. "You took your time," Naruko muttered. The jonin studied them with an uninterested expression. "First impressions? You're all a little underwhelming," he stated. Naruko remained unbothered by his remark. "I'm your jonin instructor. Meet me on the rooftop, and we'll begin," he instructed before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Following his lead, the trio made their way to the rooftop. Throughout the walk, both Sasuke and Sakura noticed something peculiar. Naruko had been unnervingly quiet. She spoke only when necessary, a stark contrast to her usual energetic self. Once seated, their instructor, Kakashi Hatake, appeared before them. "Now, I'd like each of you to introduce yourselves," he said. Sakura tilted her head. "What do you mean by that, sensei?" "Just the basics, your likes, dislikes, dreams, and hobbies," Kakashi explained. Naruko, unimpressed, responded, "Why don't you introduce yourself first?" Kakashi thought for a moment before giving a vague response. "I'm Kakashi Hatake. My likes and dislikes. I'd rather not say. Dreams? Haven't really thought about it. As for hobbies, I have a few." Sakura pouted. That wasn't much of an introduction. Kakashi ignored her comment and turned to the team. "All right, now that I've gone first, let's hear from the one with the turban." "I prefer to go last," Naruko said. "After all, I was always labeled as the weakest. It only makes sense for the so-called dead last to be the last to speak." Kakashi raised an eyebrow but let it slide. "All right then. You, Pinky, go ahead." Sakura smiled. I'm Haruno Sakura. I like. She glanced at Sasuke with a shy smile. I like syrup-coated onko dumplings. I don't really dislike anything. My dream? Well. She stole another glance at Sasuke before giggling. And what I hate? Naruko. Kakashi internally sighed. Girls these days are more focused on love than their training. Naruko, unaffected, simply thought, you've always disliked me, Sakura. But to me, you're nothing more than a nuisance. Next, Sasuke introduced himself. I'm Uchiha Sasuke. I don't have many likes. I dislike things that shouldn't exist but do. My dream. No, my ambition, is to defeat a certain someone. Kakashi observed him carefully. As expected. Finally, it was Naruko's turn. What I like isn't simply a preference, it's a goal. A goal that demands recognition, one that leads to peace, and another that remains my secret. What I dislike are people who pass judgment on others without understanding their struggles. As for my hobbies, they are personal. Both Sasuke and Sakura exchanged glances. This version of Naruko was unfamiliar to them, her demeanor cold yet composed. And your name? Kakashi prompted. You already know it, Naruko replied smoothly. After all, you were my father's student, weren't you? Kakashi's eyes widened in shock. Naruko's father? Sasuke thought, equally surprised. What exactly do you know? Kakashi asked seriously. Naruko's expression remained unreadable. More than you think, she replied. The atmosphere grew tense, but Kakashi quickly changed the subject. Meet me at the training grounds tomorrow at 3 a.m. Don't be late. With that, the meeting ended, but the questions surrounding Naruko's transformation had only just begun. Naruko had yet to receive any updates about Sora and Temujin regarding the mysterious meteorite in Hoshigakure. Concerned for their safety, she decided to head there herself. However, since she didn't know the exact location, she relied on the flight technique while altering her appearance to remain undetected. She chose the youthful face of the third Hokage as her disguise. Soaring through the skies, Naruko inquired about the whereabouts of Hoshigakure from various travelers. Once she finally located the village, she activated her chakra sensing technique to find her allies but was unable to detect them. As she continued flying over the village, she spotted Sora and Temujin locked in battle against Akahoshi. Mysterious peacock method, dragon. Akahoshi unleashed his attack toward Temujin, who managed to block it using his Gelo powers. However, Sora was struck by the attack and fell unconscious. Sora! Sora! Temujin called out in alarm. Meanwhile, Sumaru had also collapsed amid the ongoing chaos, as the meteorite's chakra had adversely affected his health. Just as Temujin prepared to use his Gelul abilities to heal Sora and Sumaru, Akahoshi stepped in to prevent him. You want the meteorite for yourself, don't you? Akahoshi sneered. Don't think for a second that I'll just hand it over. It's not for me, Temujin countered. It's for the clan leader. The meteorite is essential to our plan. Oh? Akahoshi's curiosity piqued. And what plan would that be? That's none of your concern, a mysterious voice interrupted. Temujin turned sharply, watching as a brown-haired figure shifted their appearance, transforming into Naruko. Byakuya-sama, Temujin murmured. You will answer for what you've done to my allies, Naruko said firmly. Her eyes transformed into the Mangekyo Sharingan, its unique pattern forming a dark circle with a red snowflake at its center. You're an Uchiha? Akahoshi stammered, his confidence wavering. Don't compare me to those who blindly follow outdated ideals, Naruko responded coolly. That's irrelevant anyway. Amaterasu. A surge of black flames engulfed Akahoshi, and the meteorite within his grasp was expelled, floating toward Naruko's hand. As she held it, she sensed an immense and overwhelming energy radiating from within. Temujin, focus on healing Sora and Sumaru, she instructed. Obeying Naruko's orders, Temujin used his Gelul powers to restore their energy, but neither of them regained consciousness. As I suspected, the meteorite's chakra is not only potent but also highly dangerous, Naruko observed. Temujin, take them to our base and let them rest. I will absorb the meteorite's chakra myself. Temujin nodded and quickly carried out the orders, using his abilities to retreat from Hoshigakure. Just as Naruko began absorbing the meteorite's power, a figure emerged, Purple Zetsu. Have you ensured there are no loose ends? Naruko asked. You need not worry, my lord. I've erased all traces of Akahoshi's existence, as well as the records of the third Hoshikage. The villagers now believed that Akahoshi succumbed to an illness and that the meteorite was destroyed due to overuse, Purple Zetsu confirmed. Excellent, Naruko said, a smirk playing on her lips. As she finished absorbing the meteorite's chakra, a sudden burst of energy caused it to explode. With the power of the Shinju, the Gelul, and now this meteorite, they will come to respect the name Otsutsuki Byakuya, she declared with confidence. Before departing, Purple Zetsu inquired, do you have any further instructions, young master? Yes. Track down one of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade, and investigate the Senju clan's lineage. There may be undiscovered DNA samples worth examining, Naruko stated. Perhaps we can uncover traces of Senju beyond Hashirama and Tobarama. As you command, Zetsu replied before vanishing. Naruko then flew toward the Shinju tree located on the cliff near the abandoned village, intending to check whether it had borne another fruit. As she arrived, a nostalgic smile formed on her face. For the past 6 years, she had returned to this place every 3 months to consume the fruit, increasing her chakra reserves without any noticeable physical alterations. Approaching the tree, she noticed that a new fruit had appeared, but something about it was unusual. Its color was no longer the familiar deep violet, instead, it shimmered with a golden hue. Rather than eating it immediately, Naruko chose to explore the abandoned village, as she had never investigated it before. The village lay in ruins, though a few ancient castles still stood, their walls covered in creeping vines. She entered one of the castles, searching for records that might reveal more about this mysterious land. In a room filled with ancient scrolls, she found one detailing the history of the area. Land of the Dead, the Shinju has stood here for at least 3,000 years. A second one grew in the land of ancestors a century ago. This place earned its name because those who trespassed perished under mysterious circumstances. Naruko continued reading, intrigued. It is forbidden to consume the fruit, for it brings misfortune to any who do. However, I disagree. I believe the fruit grants unparalleled power. One day, as I observed the tree, a fruit fell from its branches. I stored it away, only to find that it had turned to ash the next day. After careful observation, I discovered that the tree bears fruit every 3 months, but if uneaten, the fruit vanishes the next day. Interesting, Naruko mused. Gathering the documents, she returned to the tree and began searching for the secret passage described in the scroll. After a thorough search, she found it, an entrance leading underground, bathed in a purplish glow. Deep inside, she heard a rhythmic pulsing. Following the sound, she discovered what the scroll had referred to, the heart of the tree, a living core pulsating with power. When she reached out to touch it, an unseen force repelled her. This energy is even greater than my own, she murmured in awe. Naruko quickly realized the heart functioned by absorbing nature energy from its surroundings, draining the life force of anything nearby. This explained the countless deaths rumored to occur in this land. She continued reading through the documents and found another crucial passage. The tree does not drain energy when it bears fruit, making it safe to approach only on that day. However, if the fruit turns golden, leave immediately, the resulting energy surge is catastrophic. They certainly made that sound dramatic, Naruko remarked. Before she could react, the heart's energy flared up, binding her with glowing roots that began draining her chakra. Is this tree alive? She questioned. The force continued siphoning her chakra, leaving her weakened. Realizing she couldn't overpower the tree, she made a decision. If the tree had taken her chakra, she would reclaim her strength by consuming its golden fruit. Using Yomatsu Hirosaka to evade the roots, she dodged incoming branches, ignited Amaterasu to burn away obstructions, and swiftly grabbed the fruit. As she ate it, an overwhelming surge of energy coursed through her body, restoring her stolen chakra, and amplifying it exponentially. In that instant, the tree exploded, leaving only its pulsating heart behind. As Naruko reached for it, the heart dissolved into a radiant energy orb and merged with her. Her transformation was immediate. Her lavender-white hair turned silver with streaks of purple. Golden horns emerged, and her attire shifted into black and gold robes with intricate silver patterns. Her eyes glowed with a celestial brilliance, revealing a new dojutsu with an intricate pentagram and a moon-like pupil. Naruko smirked. She had surpassed all limits. Naruko did not return home that night. Instead, she spent her time within one of her personal dimensions, her favorite, the ice dimension, where she could admire the vast, snow-covered mountains and enjoy the serenity of the falling snow. This dimension was not only a place of peace for her but also a space where she could exist in her true form without restrictions. Taking advantage of the solitude, she continued to explore her newfound abilities, including her mastery over the Gelul stone, the energy from the meteorite, and, more recently, the remains of the Shinju. Experimenting with her rapid regeneration, she observed as a self-inflicted wound healed instantly. A small smirk played on her lips. This level of regeneration made her feel nearly invincible. Inside her grand palace, she gazed at her reflection in a tall mirror. Her eyes, now infused with a new and mysterious power, gleamed with an otherworldly glow. Unlike any known dojutsu, her eyes had a truly unique and almost alien-like appearance. Determined to uncover their secrets, she activated them, watching as a strange glyph materialized before her. Suddenly, a creature emerged from the symbol, summoned into her presence. As morning arrived, rather than following Kakashi's instructions to skip breakfast, she opted for a satisfying meal. Meanwhile, word had spread throughout Konoha regarding the growing number of missing civilians. Under the Hokage's directive, Anbu squads were investigating the disappearances, yet not a single trace or clue had been found. Fear spread among the villagers, who worried they might be next. This led the Hokage to reinforce a long-standing rule: no one was to wander the streets at night. Despite these precautions, the disappearances persisted. Hiruzen remained alert, but unbeknownst to him, Naruko was at the heart of the mystery. Later, she arrived at the training grounds, where Sasuke and Sakura had just gathered. Expecting Kakashi's usual tardiness, Naruko recalled a piece of information she had received from Purple Zetsu: Kakashi was notoriously late, often by nearly 3 hours. Sakura sighed in frustration. Ugh. He told us to come early, and yet he's the one who's late. She turned to Sasuke. Right, Sasuke-kun? Humph, Sasuke responded with his usual aloofness. Sakura then continued, lowering her voice slightly. Did you hear what happened yesterday? Apparently, he was caught peeping at the women's bathhouse and got reprimanded by the Hokage. I can't believe someone like him would do that. What a shameless habit. Naruko suppressed a laugh, knowing full well that she had been the one behind Kakashi's actions. With her unique abilities, she had subtly influenced him into causing trouble. Knowing the wait would be long, she decided to leave. Naruko, where are you going? Sakura called after her. Just taking a walk, she replied nonchalantly. Sasuke narrowed his eyes as he watched her leave. Ever since their graduation, he had noticed a change in Naruko. She was no longer the loud and carefree person she once was. Instead, she had grown distant, unreadable, and unnervingly calm. Flashback. Eager to understand her new abilities, Naruko had experimented with her dojutsu, summoning a mysterious being. Who are you? She had asked. The entity bowed slightly. I am Leo, a celestial spirit. Forgive my ignorance, my lady, but those eyes. They belong to the Sairagan, a power obtained by consuming the golden fruit of a rare Shinju. Naruko's curiosity deepened. A rare Shinju? Leo nodded. Yes. Unlike the common Shinju, which bears fruit once every 1,000 years, this variant produces one every 3 months. It draws energy not only from the earth but also from celestial bodies, the sun, moon, and stars, making it far more potent. However, if the fruit is not consumed immediately after blooming, it vanishes. Why does it disappear? The energy within is too immense. If left uneaten, it dissolves within a day. Normally, consuming it would be fatal. But you are the exception. The only one? Naruko asked. Throughout history, many have searched for this unique Shinju across various realms. Some succeeded in finding it, but none could withstand its power. One individual managed to consume a portion but did not survive, passing his abilities to his descendants instead. You, however, have fully inherited the Shinju's essence, making you its rightful keeper. Naruko smirked. Interesting. When I ate the golden fruit, something pulsated within the tree, and I could feel its energy enter my body. Leo's eyes widened in shock. That means only one thing. The Shinju recognized you and willingly entrusted you with its power. You are now its guardian. Naruko's smirk deepened. So the Shinju was alive all along. Good. Then I'll use its strength to achieve my greatest ambition. Leo silently observed as Naruko dismissed him, now fully aware of how to wield the Sairagan's abilities. End of flashback. Feeling satisfied with her discoveries, Naruko meditated for 3 hours, drawing in nature energy as a form of sustenance. Finally, she decided to return to the training grounds, where Kakashi had finally arrived. Where have you been? Kakashi asked, eyeing her with suspicion. Just resting, she replied casually. By the way, I've been hearing some interesting rumors about you. Apparently, you have a habit of being late. And I also heard that one of your pastimes involves peeping at women's bathhouses. Kakashi visibly tensed at her words, while Sasuke and Sakura let out amused chuckles. That's right. You're totally a pervert, sensei, Sakura teased. Clearing his throat, Kakashi quickly changed the subject. Ahem. Now, let's get to today's test. He set a small alarm clock on a tree stump before revealing 2 silver bells. Your objective is simple, retrieve these 2 bells from me. If you succeed, you'll officially become Jinan, he explained. But sensei, there are only 2 bells, Sakura pointed out, concern evident in her voice. Kakashi nodded, and both Sasuke and Sakura immediately grew tense, realizing what this implied. Naruko, on the other hand, simply smirked, already forming a strategy in her mind. Kakashi noted her confident expression. She's planning something, he thought. The test will last until noon. Now. Begin. Kakashi announced. As he spoke, his mind briefly wandered to the recent disappearances plaguing Konoha. The mysterious figure has struck again. After a year of silence, the abductions have resumed. Who is behind this? And why? Unbeknownst to him, the answer stood right in front of him. Sasuke and Sakura were now concealed, with Sasuke positioned behind a tree and Sakura hidden beneath a bush. Meanwhile, Naruko strolled through the forest, ensuring she was alone before activating Yomatsu Hirasaka to transport herself into her ice dimension. Within the grand palace of her personal realm, she approached a mirror, which reflected Kakashi surveying the area where her teammates were hiding, including herself. He has no idea that I have access to multiple dimensions at my disposal, Naruko mused with a smirk. As she observed the test unfolding, Kakashi quickly spotted Sakura. Without hesitation, he cast a genjutsu, causing her to see a vision of a wounded Sasuke approaching her. Overwhelmed by the illusion, Sakura fainted. I didn't expect her to be so susceptible to such a simple genjutsu. She needs improvement, Kakashi muttered to himself. Hearing Sakura's distressed cry, Sasuke grimaced. 1 down. I need to get those bells, he resolved. Noticing Kakashi casually reading Icha Paradise, Sasuke seized the opportunity and launched a barrage of shuriken. Kakashi skillfully evaded the attack. Looks like I can't enjoy my book right now, he remarked with a light chuckle. Sasuke swiftly closed the distance, forming hand seals. Fire style, great fireball technique. A massive fireball surged toward Kakashi, striking him, only for his figure to be replaced by a wooden log. A substitution? Where did he go? Sasuke thought. Suddenly, a hand emerged from the ground and grabbed his ankle. Earth style, hiding like a mole technique, Kakashi's voice rang out as he pulled Sasuke underground, leaving only his head exposed. Ninjutsu alone won't be enough to defeat me, Kakashi remarked before vanishing in a puff of smoke. Sakura, regaining consciousness from the genjutsu, saw Sasuke's predicament and immediately screamed before fainting once more. Sasuke sighed. Where did that idiot Naruko go? Meanwhile, within her ice dimension, Naruko chuckled as she watched her teammates struggle. Amused but ready to intervene, she exited the realm and returned to the battlefield. Kakashi, still searching for Naruko, was caught off guard as a flurry of kunai flew toward him. He swiftly dodged as Naruko revealed herself. You're good at hiding, Naruko, Kakashi complimented. Shall we dance? She responded with a confident smirk. Kakashi's eyes widened in surprise at her choice of words. Sensing his reaction, Naruko muttered, Saiyajin. As her eyes shifted, Kakashi's shock doubled. Neither Minato-sensei nor Kushina-san had a dojutsu. Where did she acquire this power? He wondered. Saiyajin, release the gate of the bowl, Taurus, Naruko declared. A glyph appeared on the ground, summoning a towering, half-bull, half-humanoid figure wielding a massive axe. The creature's upper body was covered in brown fur, while its lower half had human-like legs clothed in tattered pants. Taurus, engage, Naruko commanded. Taurus swung his axe into the ground, splitting it open and forcing Kakashi to leap away. Incredible strength. Naruko, what is this dojutsu? How did you awaken it? Kakashi questioned. Before Naruko could respond, the loud crash of battle reached Sasuke and Sakura, drawing their attention. What was that? Sakura exclaimed as they rushed toward the source of the noise. Upon arrival, they were stunned to witness a massive humanoid bull clashing with Kakashi, while Naruko stood watching calmly. What kind of creature is that? Sakura asked, eyes wide in disbelief. Naruko, Sasuke murmured, still in shock. Sasuke, what is it? Sakura pressed. He pointed toward Naruko. Sakura gasped, realizing Naruko's eyes had transformed into a mysterious dojutsu. As the battle between Taurus and Kakashi intensified, Naruko remained composed. Naruko, tell me, what abilities does this dojutsu hold? Kakashi pressed. You'll find out soon enough. Kakashi quickly performed hand seals. Water style, water dragon jutsu. A massive, swirling water dragon surged toward Naruko. She smirked. Using water? Then I'll counter with its master. Saiyajin, release the gate of the water bearer, Aquarius. A regal woman materialized, her seaweed-like tube dress flowing around her. She had deep blue hair and eyes, adorned with seashells and coral jewelry. A large urn rested in her hands. You called me to deal with this opponent? Aquarius chuckled. Naruko gave her a cold, silent stare. Fine, even though I despise taking orders, I'll do as you command, Aquarius sighed. Kakashi, along with Sasuke and Sakura, stared in awe at the elegant yet powerful figure. Who is she? Kakashi wondered, momentarily captivated by her presence. Aquarius gracefully lifted her urn, effortlessly absorbing the water dragon before releasing it back at Kakashi with twice the intensity. How's that? She smirked. Naruko swiftly dismissed both Taurus and Aquarius. Kakashi countered by raising an earth-style wall to shield himself. As the water dispersed, he exhaled. Naruko, you truly are remarkable, he admitted. Before he could initiate another jutsu, Naruko muttered, Saiyajin, release the gate of the lion, Leo. A young man clad in golden fur appeared, his slit-pupiled eyes glowing. His wild brown hair resembled a lion's mane. Light style, solar beam, Naruko commanded. As you wish, Leo replied. A blinding light illuminated the surroundings, momentarily disorienting everyone. Taking advantage of the moment, Naruko used Yomatsu Hirasaka, slipping her hand into Kakashi's pocket and retrieving the bells. Leo, dismissed, she ordered. The summon vanished instantly. Kakashi, regaining his vision, started to speak. You failed. Time is almost up, and... Kakashi-sensei, I've already won, Naruko interjected with a smirk, holding up both bells. Kakashi blinked. How? Sasuke and Sakura arrived, stunned. Naruko. How did you do it? Sasuke asked in disbelief. Naruko didn't respond, only smiling in a self-satisfied manner. Kakashi sighed. Well then, you all pass. Thanks to Naruko's actions, I'll reconsider my evaluation. But teamwork is still the key. I hope you three learn to work together rather than competing against each other. Leading them to the memorial stone, Kakashi spoke solemnly. This monument bears the names of those who gave their lives protecting the village. Friends, family, mentors. Their sacrifices are never forgotten. He turned to his students. Strength alone isn't enough. One day, you'll face an opponent far stronger than you. If you refuse to work together, your name may end up here as well. He paused before adding, those who abandon their mission are considered failures. But those who abandon their comrades are worse than failures. Sasuke and Sakura absorbed his words, their expressions shifting with understanding. Naruko, however, remained deep in thought. Tomorrow, we meet at the Hokage Tower for our first mission. Now, who's up for lunch? Kakashi asked. Sasuke and Sakura's stomachs growled in unison. I'll pass, Naruko said casually. As the two teammates ate, Kakashi pulled Naruko aside. Naruko, how did you acquire that dojutsu? And what exactly is it? Naruko smirked. Before I answer that, I have a little gift for you. Her eyes shifted into the Sharingan. Before Kakashi could react, he fell under her hypnotic illusion. You will forget about my dojutsu. You will believe I won using the multi-shadow clone technique. Now, go enjoy your usual pastime. Dear YouTube family. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one. Best. 6 Path Weeb.